Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. My name is Eryn.
And I'm also Eryn.
And we have a special guest today. Friend of mine, friend of the show, Mr. Casey Chahine.
Hey there, you're on air with Casey Chahine.
No.
Casey, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, man.
So we don't often do these third mic episodes, so it's nice having a new dynamic here.
Yeah.
Me and Eryn won't just talk ourselves in circles.
We do. We
now
do
we'll
a lot
have
of
Casey,
that.
and he just gets to be part
now
of
Casey
the
will
plan.
talk
say-
himself in circles.
I will say that the way you guys do talk yourself in circles makes for a perfect 45-minute episode.
Oh,
You guys bring it
great.
right back. You guys bring it right back home, and I love it. I loved it. I listened to the last episode twice just to get the vibe. So
That
Wow.
was the
That
one
is
where we
so
announced
kind.
Erin's
Yeah, I-
job, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I also heard my shout out, and I love the sound of my own name. So
Oh, Casey. Well, Casey is a big friend of Nashville Tour Stop. He works at the True Music Room. He is a bartender, but we love him especially for his incredible audio skills and how he makes sure that all of our musicians are taken care of when they play their sets. And you are so meticulous and detailed, and just you care so much about making
He's one
sure
of the most
everyone sounds
thorough
good.
sound engineers I've ever gotten to work with.
I know that I bet you can tell just based on my sound checks during the regular every first and third Tuesday rounds, the True Music Tuesdays.
True Music
Boy,
Tuesday.
do we run behind because my sound checks are meticulous.
Well,
But they're great. I have a good
But
time.
that's why everyone likes playing there, is because they can actually hear themselves for once.
You're true to yourself,
Hey,
Casey.
I try. That's the cool thing about working in that room in particular, is that being a bartender, I get to know who the guests are, and then also bringing in musicians. Like when I started, we barely had music. And we started to grow it out. I saw that there was basically like a unused awesome system that I just decided to help take over. And last September, I was officially asked to start booking the room, and then I got really obsessed and fixated on making everything sound great.
And it does sound great, and it pays off well for NTS.
NTS.
Casey is also one of the most put together, chaotic people that I've ever met, other than myself and Eryn, because
I feel at home with you guys. I really do.
I will
company.
I will see you at the True Music Room, be like, hey Casey, how you doing? And you'll say man, I slept for 43 seconds last night, and I've worked the last 13 days, but I'm here, and it's great.
I don't love that. I complain.
No, not in like a complaining
No,
way.
I know
Like
what
you're
you
just this is how it is, and I'm here, and I'm stoked, and it's great.
And we're all kind of addicted to our work anyways.
So
it's always like game time. I'm always thinking the one thing I guess I must be codependent. Like I thought I worked through it a long time ago in therapy, but I guess I'm still like a codependent in the sense where the last thing I want to do is look stupid or let anybody down. So I work extra hard to make sure that on the outside, everything is all taken care of
Heck yeah.
at the expense of myself, which
We
I
all
think
do
we
that.
all agree. Right, Will?
Yeah, so we gave Will a brief shout out, but Will is our newest intern at Nashville Tour Stop. He makes my life exponentially easier because I used to edit the podcast and mix it, and as listeners of the show know, my ears don't work. Yeah,
yes.
so Will's ears do work.
Thank God.
And Will just turned 21.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations.
Will just turned 21 and had a great birthday on Broadway, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so we've got a good squad here, but let's take a moment to break down our relationship, Casey.
I'm in.
Do you remember how we met?
Actually, I knew you by reputation through.
I didn't even know that.
Good or bad?
No, that's the thing is I'd never formally met you because you were always running around like a psychopath.
Yes.
At Cabana or at
Fair.
Belcourt, and
Checks
I saw
out.
you. I'd seen you, so I knew you by reputation. I'm like, oh, dude's got things put together. When I'd been going over there, I was kind of because I had a buddy that was performing. I don't think he's ever played a tour stop, but I knew I fell out of love with music almost immediately when I moved to Nashville because I'm like a recovering musician. I moved here 11 years ago and I immediately fell out of love and I didn't care about music anymore. I'm like, wow, it's a bunch of people just singing melodies about their sad lives and their feelings. why don't they just say what's on their mind? And that's because I just got jaded, and it was like a little bit of an insecurity. So when I would start to go to like Belcourt and go to the rounds, I'd start to see like, there's something cool here, there's something fun here, but I never gave it much mind until I started working at Cambria, and then it was like, oh, okay, there's something cool here, and then so we met through Greenbrier, actually.
Yeah. Greenbrier.
That was when we
been
made the official introduction.
been a big supporter. So I think that Greenbrier had met with is it the GM or your food and beverage manager?
Our food and beverage manager,
Eric. Yeah. So they had a meeting about doing some kind of a menu placement for their Tennessee whiskey, and Eric had mentioned something about wanting some help booking music and having some shows there and try to up the game a little. And Cliff, our buddy at Greenbrier, is like, well, how convenient.
Big shouts out to Cliff.
Hey,
Yeah.
Cliff.
Cliff
The
is
man.
a great dude. But yeah, Cliff really bridged the gap between it, and now we've got this whole thing going.
Yeah, we've got I think it was funny the other day, you actually looked over at me and you're like, isn't it weird that we just started like working together and all of a sudden we're just like friends?
We're
I'm
just
like,
friends now.
I'm like, yeah, I would kind of run through a wall for you. I really would. like I genuinely I so appreciate both of you guys so much. And I mean, I know I'm not shy about, singing my praises all the time to you about how much I appreciate you and what you guys do and who you are as people, because I know that you're both just very genuinely like good freaking people.
Oh,
That is so
thanks.
tough to come by, because booking outside of you guys, there are people who are difficult to work with, and I have a rule that if you're difficult to work with, you don't get to work with me. Like, there's too many good people out there.
I'm pretty sure that was one of the first things you and I bonded about. Was 'cause
Yeah.
one of my first rules is don't be an asshole.
Fair enough.
Everyone likes nice people, and you know who likes assholes?
No
Girls I
one.
want to date.
Oh. Good Lord.
Yeah, okay, so you work at the Cambria Hotel, but more specifically the True Music Room, which is the venue/bar
Yeah.
there on the 5th floor, which is kind of, I don't want to call it ground level, but is main level.
I like to say we're vertically integrated.
And also, just for location context, you guys are like basically on Broadway.
We are- yeah, we're a block
you are,
away.
You are a hustle and bustle hotel.
Yeah.
People in and out all the time. Tourists, conventions, artists.
on the
It
corner
is-
of 8th and Demumbrian.
Yep, 8th and McGavick. So
McGavick.
DeMumbrian's
Oh,
on the other
McGavick.
side.
Yes, that's
8th and
correct.
McGavick, like right by. There's the JW down the street, but there more specifically, Bridgestone is just right behind us.
Yep.
Yeah, so that is that's kind of how we got plugged in together. But Casey and I really hit it off early because we had this same mentality of wanting to work with cool people and nice people, and
Yeah.
not necessarily sacrificing the this person's quote popular. But we were like, there's quote unpopular people who are more popular because they have friends who just want to come hang out.
Yeah.
I can't, thinking now, like right in my head, I can't think of anybody who would be like popular that's not cool right now in my head, because I think I've essentially just purged a lot of those people that were giving you that negative like context and connotation of like
Bad
musicians. Bad vibes? No more bad vibes. They're all gone, because I
None.
think you with the community that this is something that I've always said about Tour Stop, even back in the day. It's like if theater kids were, it's the writers' round for theater kids.
We were literally talking about in that in last week's episode.
Yes, I'm so happy you're saying this, because when we were growing up, there was always this thing where if you were excited or if you were passionate about something, if you liked something, that was not cool. It was cool to not care. It was cool to be like, ew, that's weird that you like that.
Right.
And now loving things and being excited about things and excited for people is thankfully being embraced. And Casey's alarm goes off.
That was about the time that I was going to wake up. Oops.
See, this
I
is
would have been
why-
late.
This is why you are the guest, because you are so wonderfully chaotic, and I love that.
I appreciate that. It's amazing that I can get anything done. That I'm efficient in any way at all is truly a miracle.
But exactly what you were saying with
But about-
like the vibes, it's now not cool to be like
I guess I don't
apathetic.
care.
Yeah.
So I'll go and say I was at, I'm not going to name any names, but I was at a writer's round at a bar, and everybody all the guys were dressed in black t-shirts, jeans, backwards black hats, had a beard. Everyone sounded a lot like Luke Combs, and which is great. I love Luke Combs, but at
Luke's
the end,
comb?
Luke's comb.
Okay, cool.
He does have a full head of hair. Underneath that hat is a full head of hair and a nice little wispy beard. I love Luke Combs. Don't get me wrong, but I think Luke Combs is already a thing. I don't know why everything sounded so similar, and I realized that the operating principle is to be cool. The operating principle is to be to do what's already been done.
To fit in.
To fit in. And that's the thing about Tour Stop is like, I mean, I can shout out every single person that I absolutely adore that is in the orbit of Tour Stop. And when I say adore them, I mean, I truly, like, Caroline is amazing. She's like one of my like new favorite people in the world.
Caroline DeLone.
She's
Love
one of my new
her.
favorite people in the entire
Sunshine.
world.
Shout out again, Caroline DeLone.
Shouts out. Lucas. I mean, I can't
God.
stop complimenting. I go every time I see him, I'm like, you always wear cool shirts.
Lucas
Dorian's always got
Carpenter.
that swag. I literally told him, I go, I know what you're gonna wear to the pool. He goes, how do you know that? I go, Dorian, your drip, it shows.
He's gonna wear 5-inch inseam swim shorts
You
and
know.
nothing else, and he's gonna be the best looking dude there.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, I was also present.
Yeah, you
With
were
the
there, yeah.
Nashville crop stop.
So
Well,
let's talk about that. We'll get into what you're doing at the bar, but I want you to tell us what you saw during the Nashville Tour Stop CMA show at the True Music Room.
Well, first of all, what a day! What a
day.
I mean, when I tell you, do you ever get those feelings like when you get to your car after a long day and you're basically running on fumes at that point, and then I just took a second, and I took a deep breath, and I go, yes, like I pumped because I was like, all the hard work and all of like all the putting my neck out there for certain things and to make sure that things were working or were going to work so that it was seamless for everyone to have a good time. Mm-hmm. It all went to plan. And on top of that, my superiors, my supervisors, my general manager were all there working in tandem with me and were asking me what I needed because they saw what cool thing was. My general manager, Bill, he said, the room feels good. He goes, I don't know what sales are going to be today but the room feels good. And I guess that's really all I care about at this point is that the room feels good for our guests. And
normally on a Friday afternoon at that time, are there people hanging out at the pool partying like that?
Oh, yeah.
Is that pretty
Oh,
normal?
yes.
Yeah.
As we talked about a couple weeks ago, the
yeah.
Lobster Boys.
And that's also something that I love too, is that being able to do what I've done. I'm like, hey, Eric, is it all right if Eryn comes to use the pool? I know she's going to be on the air later. She might talk about it. If she doesn't, she doesn't. If she does, she does. Either way, I want to
Already have.
You have.
Already
I
have.
appreciate that. High five. It just means the world. It really means the world to just be able to like. We have so much, and we're so like. I have so like an abundance of like resources that I want to share and allocate to people to use, however they want to enhance their experience, their lives, but also just want to be part of the room. Like the fact that you love the room means the world to me because I love it as well. And it's just like I like inclusion and including everybody inside of the vision of
If
what
you
I
look
want.
over by the door, you might not be able to see it. No, it's behind one of the boxes there. But
I can't see through
we have
boxes.
a project list for Tour Stop, and one of them is the cool kids everyone can sit with.
Yeah.
And it's the point. We want everyone to be involved.
I love that. And it's actually my long-term vision for the room is to essentially, before we had music, we always had music since I was there. October of 2020 is when I got hired. That was during COVID. And music started to come in slowly, and I wasn't in charge of the music, but I quickly took over the soundboard because I have a thing that when I'm in a room and the sound is bad, I hate it there. And if I have to work there and I have to talk over it, it better be good, or it better at least sound good. So I really just want. I lost my train of thought for a second.
There are so many rooms that have bad sound in this town, and finding the ones that where it sounds good and it's magical, it's kismet because you want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what keeps butts in seats. And that's what, as a bartender, it keeps. I want butts in seats to make money as a
Butts
bartender
in
at the end of the day,
seats.
Right.
Butts
and make
in
my
seats.
guys money. I mean,
And if it's too loud, people take off. If it's too quiet, people will take off.
and if it's not engaging.
Yep.
And that's what I always try to tell every musician that comes up on stage is that like, this stage is yours. Like I'm not going to tell you what to do with your time on that stage, but it's 2 hours that you get for yourself to if you want to make money, play the hits. if you have, I had a kid, Josh Furs, for a while. I had him playing on Wednesdays during slow times, and he goes like, I don't know what to do. I go, well, what you're gonna do is like, do you have an idea? Do you have the 2 bars of a verse? Why don't you just like hum through hum to get there and hum on your way out? Hit it. Try a new idea. Just try things out and ask people what they think. So at the end of the day, all these customers are like, do you ever see anyone famous? I go, no, not like famous like you would know, not like in your flyover states that you're from. Like, no. But what I do see are people who have cuts. I've seen people on The Voice, people that play rounds, people that have great publishing deals. All these people. One of them, Ryan Larkins, is one of my favorite people to bring in because, I mean, he just shout out to Ryan Larkins, just released a song with Bill Anderson and Dolly Parton.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just released one of his cuts.
Amazing.
And that's amazing. And I mean, I truly believe that he's one of the best songwriters in town.
I was with him playing in a round in 2018. I met him on stage, and he played his song, "The King of Country Music," and he had written it the day before, and he's like, he's got this real nice, slow molasses voice, real deep baritone, and he's like, I wrote this new song with my buddies, and it's called "The King of Country Music," and I hope y'all like it. And there were like 7 people there, and I like. Have you ever seen someone getting ready to cry and they go?
Yeah.
They have those pre-cry breaths. That happened to me involuntarily.
Oh my
when he delivered the
gosh.
chorus of his song for the first time.
Some say Jones, some say Haggard.
Some
say
straight. Some say Travis.
Yep.
Sitting on the throne. That's all well and good, but don't get me wrong, because the king of country music is the song.
Dang.
And just now, I gave
Ooh,
myself
that
chills.
chills.
That's my first time hearing that. I have chills.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I was in the
hell of a
round with
song.
him the day after he wrote that, and all of the 7 people in that hotel bar. God, I can't even remember where it was. Somewhere downtown. There's 100 hotels here, but
So many.
all of the 7 people just stood up and gave him a standing ovation, and that was when we knew something was going to happen
Mm-hmm.
with this guy. And here it is, 4 years later, Dolly Parton.
Yeah. And that's what that room is for. That room is to highlight those people, to give people the opportunity to be what they want to be, to try things out. That's like a gym. It's really, that's what I would say. Treat it like a gym. Like, hone your craft. You may not have a crowd. This is your opportunity to learn how to get over on a crowd.
I
If
love
you have a
this.
crowd, how do you keep them? And I go, at the end of the day, all I need you to do is, if you can keep butts and seats and keep selling drinks. I know there's Chloe Gilligan. She loved to play the Tuesday 8 to 10 because she'd have 6 people. It was during slow season. We'd have 6 people in the room, about 2 glasses of wine deep, and they all sat around for at least one more round. And she says, that's what I love. I love it when they're just kind of stuck in their seat and they're sitting there, and then when it's slow enough, we can get them another glass of wine. Well, our sales are up, and now she translates between being a wonderful, I mean, she's an amazing singer. Her voice is just right down Main Street. She plays in an open tuning, so it's super consistent.
Mm-hmm.
She's a knockout. I mean, she's just absolutely gorgeous, and so she's the entire package. And then she also has this work ethic of, I know what I like and I know how to get people, and that's why I like this slot. I'm like, oh, there is a game here. So it is a gym to work out what it is that you want to do, and just do it, and then take that to the next place you go. Because I don't care about to get any credit for anyone's success or anything. I go, like, this is just a place for you to, like, not waste your time, because I can't pay musicians. They work for tips. And so I made it my mission to put them, like I call it human Sudoku. I have a spreadsheet where I move them around. I say, who fits the best in this slot? Is this the slot that's going to make them the most money if they want to? It's an option. They don't have to make money if they don't want to, but most of them do. It's their job. So
inspiring.
Yeah,
Listening to you talk
it's
about
fun.
like this was such an incredible perspective to get from the different people that you talked about, how people don't realize, because you get a lot of tourists that come to stay in Nashville, and people, do you see famous people? Everybody to us, because we see how talented they are and we know the little secrets that they of their accomplishments. You know, they are all famous to us. And I read something the other day where, there are songwriters everywhere you go that have written the songs that everybody loves that wouldn't exist without those individuals, and they get to live like inconspicuous lives. Nobody knows that they're famous, but they're so famous, and they're always among us.
There's an old Brian Regan quote. Do you know who that is?
No.
Brian Regan? Do you know who Brian Regan is?
Do I?
Okay, so you do.
I feel lame.
Brian Regan
Okay.
is a comedian made popular probably in the late 90s, early 2000s.
He's been
a little
going.
bit.
He's been going forever.
He's been around for a long time, but he has a whole routine about how he's famous but not famous, how he can go to a Starbucks and no one will bother him. But he'll sell out a theater with 10,000 seats.
One of the biggest touring comics. I mean, literally lives on the road on a tour bus. One of the most accomplished, money-making comics. Right there, right down Main Street, makes a nice living, nice clean living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's that kind of songwriter fame where people know your stuff, but they don't know who you are. It's like one of the tour stop performers from years ago, and I had him play True Music Room, named Mark Erwin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's written God knows how many humongous songs. Like, he wrote Blake Shelton, Neon Light, and Alan Jackson, Here in the Real World. But if you were just sitting next to him at a bar,
You wouldn't know.
you wouldn't think twice to be like, hey, so have you written some of the most popular country songs of all time?
Yeah.
Yes. He also wrote Highway Don't Care, Taylor Swift. Like, the songs that our friends love, we just don't assume automatically, like, oh, that's just some guy.
Yeah.
It's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I want to know what it takes for you as a booker to, when you find these people to play, what is it that you look for in, other than obviously availability, because you are a busy guy. You're like, yeah, I need someone for this slot bad.
Now.
When you find those people, like when you're farming new talent, like what is it that you like really look for that you can kind of, and I don't want to say pick favorites, but pick someone that you're like, I want to be an agent for their success. Like what do you look for?
There's a ton of factors that go into why I do or don't book people. Really, one of the bottom, simplest, whatever you want to call it, things is their willingness to support those around them. And that's one of the reasons why we
Let's go.
work with a lot of the same people, is because if I book Caroline DeLone, I know for a fact that Tara Walston and Julia Larkin and her friend group and Samantha Jane, they're going to come out because they just want to watch their friends play. But the same goes if I booked any of those other three girls, the others would be there. Mm-hmm. And I want to book people who are going to be working like that. And then that comes in the whole other world of like musicality and lyrics and, quote, success. But at least at the level we're working right now, I would so much rather be able to support the people who want to support those around them rather than just, oh, you opened for someone on the road 4 years ago that I've never heard of. Mm-hmm. And like, that's not a credential that's worth bragging about. But if you can say, hey, I got 5 friends who want to come drink Tuesday night and hang out after my show, I'll be like, hell yeah. Do any of them want to play?
Because ultimately, that is kind of what we're doing, and mm-hmm. It's really it is. We are in the bar business.
It's community building.
I'm in. You are a community leader. You're basically Harvey Milk of community leaders. You're just you're the straightest Harvey Milk I know. You're building you're building such a
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride. Exactly. That's why I brought it up, baby. That's the something that I'm just so I so admire about you as a man and as a friend. It's like to say, like, to call you in the ranks of my friends, like, I am pretty picky about who I keep as friends and as who I like admire as people. And like, you have such admirable qualities of like, I am going to adjust everything. I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that this person feels good because I know what they're doing. And at the end of the day, you're doing all that. And like I said, we're in the bar business. I'm technically in the bar business because I'm actually pouring drinks and putting, spouts on bottles. Mm-hmm. But you're out there.
I got to make sure there's a button a seat for you to pour that.
Exactly. And I think that's just so cool. And I then, don't worry, the compliments don't stop with Eryn. Eryn, that's something, and I want to go back to something that you said on the podcast last week. Well, it'll be 2 weeks ago as this airs. You said something about, as with the new job at 1067, is that you want to start incorporating more musicians. And you want to create a platform for a lot of the people that you've become friends with through Tour Stop. That's so admirable, especially on that huge platform, because by aligning your friends and these up-and-comers that we believe in with people who, I guess, the meritocracy of the music business has determined that these people are the best, that's such a cool, admirable trait, and I really want to like give you a shout out. I think
thank
it's such a great
you.
idea.
Thank you. Yeah, Casey, you're just gassing us up over here, making
That's
us
what I
feel
do,
so
baby.
good.
That's what I do.
That's actually why I had Casey come on and suggested him as a guest, so that he would just give us
In case
compliments
you're ever
the whole
feeling
time.
bad about yourself, hang out with Casey.
Well, if you're feeling really good about yourself, don't worry, I'll knock you down a few pegs.
Well, hey, let's take a quick break for a commercial message, and we'll come right back with the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast.
Welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. I'm Eryn, and across from me is...
Also, Eryn.
Amazing!
The other one.
Yes, the other one. And also across from me and Eryn is...
On air with Casey Chahine.
Yes, Casey
Our guest this week.
Chahine.
Taking up more of the talking minutes than anybody else on this episode, and I apologize.
No, that's why you're here, my dude.
I feel that.
It's one of the
Thank you.
things that I like having guests that actually can pull a conversation, because I've had those interviews before, as I'm sure you have, where you're like,
Oh, yeah.
you're probing them just to get anything, and you're
Especially
like,
in
so
news.
what are you up to today? And they're just like, nothing. Period. You're like, okay, well, bye.
Well, you have no shortage of things to say, and clearly no shortage of passion for what you do at the True Music Room at the Cambria Hotel, and you have some big plans. I'm doing my Italian emphasis hands for those of you who can't see, which is everyone.
This is
No one can
Eryn.
see
I
this.
see him. It's my favorite. It's my new favorite emoji.
I'm telling you, working
It's my
in
new
radio.
favorite emoji.
Me too.
It used to be smirk face. Now it's
I need to know more about these aspirations that you have for True Music Room. Please
it's
tell
all
us.
coming together. I had no idea what I wanted to do long term until quite recently, when everything started to come together, and it was almost a eureka moment. It's with these between the True Music Tuesdays every first and third Tuesday at the True Music Room, 5th floor of the Cambria Hotel, and going to Sonny's, and like just going to all these events and going to the basement shows and just seeing all these the group, and now just kind of rounding out everything that we said and bring it full circle. Man, we're bringing it full circle. It's the fact that if I can create a place for the community, the tour stop community, and the songwriting community to hang out, it's like a nexus for musicians, and also a place where all my guests who want to meet someone famous or want to meet songwriters, they can rub shoulders, and it can give the musicians an opportunity to grow and to build their base. I always say that's the 1,000 fan rule. If you can get 1,000 fans and you get $100 from all those fans, you made $100,000 pre-tax. So that means that if you play 5 shows a week, that gives yourself a weekend. If you play 5 shows a week and you're able to gain 2 fans in 4 months, I think it's 4 years and 8 months, you'll have 1,000 fans. And we all know that everything grows exponentially. But over that time, if you're able to set up an infrastructure on your back end as a small business owner, because that's what you are as a musician and as an independent artist, that you can go ahead and you can try to make $100 from them a year. That's it, a year. So that's a Patreon. That's less than $10 a month on a Patreon that you can get people subscribed to. If you can get 1,000 people, you're making $100,000. Then you can fund your dream. A lot of that, and big shout out to Paige Rose. She does this thing where she says, everything that I make, I reinvest back into my music. So everything I make from music, I make back into music. Well, that motivates me to make sure that whatever I can do to make her money or save her money or do anything, I'm happy to, because she spoke that into the universe.
Wow.
And I like to fix that for her. I want to help that. I want to reward that good behavior, as a friend. So what I really want to do is essentially, and I talked to my general manager about this recently. Thankfully, I can talk about it now. That the vision is to extend our budget, let's do True Music Tuesdays every week. Then we can continue to lean on sponsors. Shout out to Dan from Pearl for furnishing us with the drum kit that we used this last Friday. And to have a drum kit, so then we can have a backline in-house, so we can start doing more full band shows, so we can start bringing in more talent. Big shout out to the Big 50 guys and Cam Jane. I mean, holy shit.
Cameron.
Oh my God. What a day.
What a freaking day. The fact that everyone on and I'm so happy that we did that event during the day, by the way, because a lot of my sales team at the hotel and my front desk people and my housekeepers and engineers that are normally gone by the time that we start True Music Tuesdays, they were all in-house, and they were all just like,
Oh,
What's happening?
That's really
they
special.
were like, what? They're like, who is this?
It's proof of concept that the people who are like up in the decision-making spots need to be able to see that stuff happen, because otherwise it's just numbers on a page.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, that's not that is what we're doing here. And
Culture
that's
building is beyond that.
bang, bang, you hit the gong. Like that.
Bang,
That's
bang,
it.
into the one, you know you want it.
Freaking love
Anyway.
that song.
I know.
But at the end of the day, that's what it is that we're doing. That I'm trying to do is to create a nexus for guests, the hotel guests, to say, I stay at a really cool hotel. They already love the hotel because they love us bartenders. Without music and a Spotify playlist, it does work. But it has a little extra zhuzh on it when there's musicians in house, and then there's a community around where people are hanging and they know each other. It makes things a lot more like.
Chris Myers is a good example of
What a gem!
someone who
I can't believe I
stayed
went
at
this
the
long without
hotel.
shouting out.
Chris
Yep.
Myers. Let's go, Chris.
Yeah, Chris Myers is. I think he started as just a guest of the hotel and stumbled into True Music Tuesday once.
I was there when this happened. Yes.
And he just wanted to hang out, and we got to talking and had a couple of whiskeys, and I forget who he was watching play. It might have been Micah Butler.
Oh,
It was Micah.
yes.
It was-
But he just looked at me. He's like, "What? Who the fuck is this?"
She takes
Like,
my breath away.
he had-
Holy cow.
He had never gotten to hear like a what makes Nashville show, and then he started coming back for work. Like, what was it, twice a month or something, every other week?
And he ultimately got a job here and moved here, and now he's a regular in my bar and a regular at every tour stop
Yeah.
event.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
That's proof to concept yet again. It's like culture building, fan building happens one person at a time.
Yeah.
One person at a time. And for all the musicians who listen to this who think you've been in Nashville for 4 years, 5 years, and you don't have 1,000 fans, it's okay. If you build your fans one at a time, you will eventually have that. And I mean, everyone has said Nashville's a 10-year town. If you can do that 1,000 fans in 5 years, that's ridiculous. That's incredible. And if it takes 10 years, that's fine. But doing the work one person at a time is literally all it takes.
And that's the important thing, is to have your eyes on the prize. And the prize is to live, at the end of the day, it's not to be successful. It's to have a fulfilling life. Let's be honest.
Well, that
We don't
can
do-
be being successful.
Exactly.
Is having a fulfilling life.
I think that that borders on I guess unhealthy behavior when you fixate on the result rather than what are you enjoying yourself are you fulfilling
journey.
yourself on I hate to say the journey, but and I'm trying to not be too like Gary V-esque about it, but because boy does his enthusiasm drives me wild, and my friend Kevin calls me Gary V all the time, and I
Special K.
Special K, shout out.
Hi.
He's the boy. He calls me, I'm Gary V all the time. I'm like, dude, you got to shut up, because he exhausts me, and if I exhaust anybody, that's a bummer. But it's the fact that I want everyone to enjoy, to live a fulfilled life while they're doing something cool. Because I always tell this to every musician: your reward for playing music is playing music. Anything else is just window dressing. At the end of the day, you're doing something that you have a skill and you have a talent and you have a passion. You get to do that, and you wanting to make money doing that is a decision, but it's not on anybody else. So you being bitter and you being unfulfilled and mad about who got what opportunity when, that's none of your business. What your job is that you're doing something, live a life worth singing about, worth writing about, be fulfilled, and then all the success will come. All right, and so before we go, I do want to mention that I was at True.
Yes, you weren't bartending.
I was not bartending. I was at True moments ago before we started this episode to grab some XLR cables. Sorry. I went to go grab some XLR cables, and there was a gentleman who's been at the bar he's been at the hotel since Wednesday.
Okay.
From California, checking in for the
The whole
CMAs.
CMA Fest.
And I was like, he's like, oh, you're not working. I go, no, I'm just on my way to do a podcast. He goes, good. He goes, yeah. He goes, man, you and that Eryn guy, crop top. He goes, we're not going to mention the crop top. I go, no. Let's talk about the crop top because I'm gonna go do the podcast with him right now. He goes, that guy's energy was off the charts. And so this is a big shout out to Dave. Dave is the one who brought it up. Dave. From Northern California said that it was just so funny to watch just the chaos as he goes, as like the back half, like as soon as the band started going on, it just getting like increasingly more and more chaotic and just hilarious. And they just thought it was so fun for like the room. It had a good feeling. And
as soon as I cut off half of my shirt, everyone became more electric. So what I think is the case is we might have to make this a staple. Eryn takes his shirt off.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not going to do that. But my favorite part of the whole day was when Mr. Cameron Jane.
I am so sad I missed it.
Oh my God, he had a wireless guitar rig, and he got off stage, played in the crowd, and then he went and did a loop around the pool, and oh my God, it was lit. People in the pool. I mean, that is the stuff that
Did
people
anyone
who
get that
don't
on
live in
camera?
Nashville.
I'm trying to swipe through it right now. I took so many videos. I never post, guys. Can someone teach me how to post?
Hello?
I know you're so good at it.
Check that
Look
out.
at
Stand by.
that. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he's just
Super
running around the
cool.
pool.
And he's just so confident.
He's
Let's
so
go,
cool.
Cam. Yes.
He's so cool, and
Yeah.
it was so beautiful.
Wow.
So like,
So Cam Jane walks around the pool, and that's the kind of stuff that people who see music all the time kind of take for granted. But the people at the hotel who have never seen something like that, they'll remember that moment and want to come back to that hotel because they saw a guy playing the guitar
at a
around the
Nashville
pool.
rooftop pool off of Broadway during
This
CMA Fest.
this right here is our model for Nashville Pool Stop.
That is
More
what
on
we
that
want.
later.
That
More
is
on
what
that
we want.
later. More on that later.
We have talked a little bit about that on the air here. We're still dotting some T's and crossing some I's.
Whatever you guys
Yup,
need.
that's exactly how that works.
Yeah, we're still sorting out the logistics of that, but we'll make an announcement about that eventually. But yeah, that whole day was just chaotic, and it went so fast because I got there at 10. You were there before that, and boy, howdy, 8 o'clock.
Shout out to Alex Amato, by the way. I cannot thank that guy enough.
We love
Shout out Al.
We got to have him on. He's got to be a guest.
He's amazing, man. He's just so fun to work with, and just like his ear for sound and his just like the way his mind works is just so like, and he's just such a good heart, really
He's a chill
supportive
dude.
and just really great. So like, shout out to Alex. I could not have done the last couple days without him. He's the man.
Amazing.
Yep. Well, all of this can be summed up to say, come hang out at True Music Tuesdays, first and third Tuesdays of every month at the Cambria Hotel True Music Room. You can hang out with me. You can hang out with Casey. Eryn could be there
Yes, I will be there whenever I can.
whenever she's available to be
You're,
there.
you're a busy lady now.
And hey, keep your eyes out. Maybe we do another daytime Friday show.
Please, I would
love
love
to.
that.
I'd
Get
love
my
to.
tan on. At
I
the
think that'd be
pool.
fun. Well, Casey, if you want people to follow you on the internet, give us your plugs or other relevant
My
plugs.
plugs. I never post, but if you want to, just follow me on Instagram at gymclasstryhard. I'm GYM class tryhard. I'm not on TikTok, and I refuse to join TikTok because I decided a long time ago that I wanted to be a Luddite.
Cool.
Just for a little bit. So just
Wow.
Great.
Come see me. Come see me anytime. I work pretty much all the time over at True. Come by. I've got music 7 days a week. Normally from about 4 to 10. But just come by, check out, follow at True Music Room on Instagram. Eric's doing a great job posting our lineups pretty regularly. And anytime, if you don't want to follow Tour Stop, you can follow me, and then you can get literally everything reposted because that's all I said. I just repost from
Amazing.
Tour Stop. So
Well, Eryn, give us your plugs as well.
Absolutely. I am on air with Eryn on all social media platforms. That's Eryn with a Y. And you can listen to me on air with Eryn weeknights, 6 to 11 p.m. On Hot 106.7 in your car or on the internet.
And you can follow me on social media at the Eryn Shilb or at Eryn Shilb on TikTok. At some point, I created the Eryn Shilb account for myself on TikTok and forgot the password, and it's just gone. So I created an entirely new one.
Rip in peace.
R.I.P. in peace. But more importantly, follow us at Nashville Tour Stop across social media platforms. We got a whole bunch of cool stuff. Do remember to leave us a 5-star review here on the podcast. Share it with
Yes.
your friends because this is one of the hardest things to get off the ground is a podcast. So the fact that we do have people listening every week, we appreciate you a lot. And share it with your friends. Maybe they learn something. Maybe they get a giggle, a laugh.
Giggle, giggle.
Giggle, giggle. Oh God, I'm not gonna do it.
I was about to do it. We started
do it.
playing that on the radio. We are playing a 97-second song on the radio, and it's that one. Anyway.
I cannot believe it.
Crazy.
But more importantly, check us out at NashvilleTourStop.com. Come see our live shows. Hang out with us at the True Music Room on Tuesdays. And Casey, we don't normally do this, but you want to take us out with saying all roads lead right here to
The Nashville Tour Stop.
Yeehaw,
Yeehaw, motherfucker.